I will straight up and say this. This is one of my favorite for the home gadgets for the year, and from EUFY in quite some time. Outdoor security cams are a dime a dozen, we all can agree with that. And honestly, I'm kinda over the same old concept, and what I mean by that is when I say security cam, what comes to your mind? Exactly, a camera with a barrel or cube-shaped body sticking out of the wall with long cables running down to the power supply, or a giant solar panel installed right above the camera. Now, what if the security cam was made to blend with your house facade better? Something that looks less obvious. And this is where the new EUFY S120 solar wall light cam comes in. It's a security cam that looks like an external deck light and has a discrete solar panel built in to keep it going and going and going and going. The EUFY S120 solar wall light cam retails for $100, and right here front and center is the 2K camera recording at 120 degrees field of view with color night vision. And the night vision sensors are under this window right here, right next to the blue status light. You probably saw that come on a second ago. There it is again. And under this frosted panel in the front here is the 300 lumens night light that comes on with proximity. And so the sensor is right there. When you walk past it, this will light up kind of like a night light. It's 300 lumens LED warm temperature under this plastic housing. It's all plastic, by the way, a little bit hollow, but you know, who's gonna go around knocking on these once it's installed? It's really solid and gonna probably last you a long time. There is also a 25-foot motion detection range with alert notifications on your phone, of course. There's 60 days of onboard storage. I was informed that there's going to be compatibility with the Homebase 3 in the coming months, so we'll find out if that's true or not in a bit. Right under the camera here, you see the mic port. So this thing has two-way audio, so you can speak to the person in front of the camera through your phone or something. And it also has a 105 dB siren, so if you want to scare away something or someone, it does so through this speaker in the corner here. At the back, you have the water-resistant cover covering the charging port as well as the sync button. And here's a slot for mounting it onto the mount itself. And right down here is the optional screw hole for you to lock this in place on the mount so this can be stolen. But you know, I sometimes have it on, sometimes I have it off depending on the height I have it and also the surface. If it falls off due to weather or something knocking it, if it's on the grass, I am totally comfortable. Anyways, this also has a 6-year lifespan, so approximately around 60,000 hours of usage before it dies, supposedly. IP65 water dust resistance. Operating temperatures are minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 122 degrees. So it probably won't survive Texas at this time of the year. I don't know about you, but I prefer my security cameras to blend in with the facade of the house rather than the traditional camera pod look. And what better way to hide your camera than in what looks like an outdoor deck light, right? And the fact that the practical design also hides the pretty decent solar panel is just icing on the cake. Let's be clear about one thing. Solar-powered cameras do have their drawbacks. Like, there's no continuous recording. You can't install them under eaves or in the shade with limited exposure to sunlight, otherwise it won't charge. And generally have less power to push higher lumens for their built-in lights or volume for speakers compared to their wired cousins. But the same thing that made me keep the EUFY Cam 3 is unlimited power that actually works surprisingly well in the real world. Besides being untethered and not having to deal with any cable management during installation, being able to work doing a power outage or having the app tell me that the camera just gained an extra 4% back into the battery just from the sun alone is an awesome feeling. Because this is not a 24/7 recording camera, power consumption is also low, guys. Barely using like 2 to 3% per day with an average of like 25 individual 45-second recordings, which when you combine it with the good charging efficiency should keep the battery condition at or close to 100% just in time for the coming winter months. And if it's a particularly mucky winter, I only expect to take the camera indoors to charge it maybe like once. That's it. Initially, this wasn't in my notes until one day I was installing one of these and it dropped from the top of my ladder and it hit the deck really hard. And it's one of those decks with those really rough sand embedded non-slip paint. And it hit it really hard with a loud smack. And when I checked it, all it had was this little scratch on the top edge. So yeah, this thing is one tough cookie. And thankfully, it's not the kind of cookie I want to eat either. The entire installation process couldn't be easier, I'll tell you what. All you have to do is pick a spot for the mount, as long as it's between like 4 to 8 feet up with enough sun exposure, of course. Drive the screws in, slot the S120 onto the mount, and then secure it with the tiny locking screw at the bottom. Setting things up in the EUFY app is pretty easy too. You get to customize things like motion activity zones so that you can refine what areas of the image you want the camera to focus on detecting any motion and not being triggered by unwanted subjects or objects like swaying trees, for example. There's even the ability to add privacy zones that add black boxes to block out neighbors' property or home unit numbers, and it's hard-coded into the recording itself as well. I also like the ability to customize your clip length from 10 seconds all the way up to 60 seconds, depending on whether you like to drag your battery life out further or prioritize motion capture. Personally, some additional color temperatures or RGB lighting options could have added more fun to the S120 and be great for things like backyard party themes. And sure, yellow lights are great for ambiance and for attracting insects the least, but seriously, I think $7 more for an RGB strip or a controller wouldn't have been too hard to implement, would it? EUFY? Come on. Maybe it's coming with the price point, but having 2K resolution is getting kinda long in the tooth, don't you think? Can we get like 4K in the next version, please? Now, that being said, for general surveillance footage, as you can see, the video from the camera is more than adequate, but being able to legibly read a license plate beyond 30 feet away would have obviously come in handy for a lot of us. I'm not sure if I've already made this abundantly clear, but this is one of my favorite smart home gadgets of the year, hands down. It's such a simple concept, super easy to install because, there's no wires, and it doesn't look like your stereotypical security cam, is also quite feature-packed and well-priced for what it is. I hope home-based integration happens soon because I was told that it is coming, or better yet, EUFY, let's just get on the Matter bandwagon already. And I also would like them to offer these in more colorways. So, with all that said, I'm giving the EUFY S120 Solar Wall Light Cam a GearUP score of 8.5 out of 10, and this is how I broke it down to get a final score. If you have any questions about how I got there, feel free to comment down below. And just in time before you keyboard complainers start saying, Aaron, you forgot to test the light on this thing, how bright does it get exactly? Well, right here, 300 lumens max, and this is 50% brightness. Pretty good, right? It illuminates me pretty well. It gives me a nice glow, yes. And anyways, remember to keyboard some nice comments down below, join the community, be nice to one another in there, and thumbs up if you like this video and check out my playlist. And also subscribe to this channel if you like to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, guys. And remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news or read the news, the world needs it more than ever. And it starts with you. I love you all very much. Peace out and God bless. Whoosh.